Pokemon Legends Arceus is the gift that just keeps on giving. A couple weeks ago, I made a video covering some secrets and Easter eggs in the game that I had found just after the game's release. But obviously, there are way more secrets and Easter eggs in this game than just 10, and I have found 10 more that I think are really cool that I want to share with you guys today. Just like the first batch of secrets, these all come from various points in the game. They're all really interesting, and they do to a certain degree involve spoilers just in case you're still trying to stay free of those. That's pretty much all there is to it though, so without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Okay guys, so what if I told you that there was a video game out there that had global PvP, massive PvE boss battles, 600 playable characters to collect and customize, and more? You'd probably say that sounds pretty good, which is a great way to describe the lovely sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. You can use my link in the description or the QR code on screen to download Raid for mobile or PC for free, and you're definitely going to want to do so because look at all the awesome stuff in this game. It's got tons of great characters to collect and play as, the single player campaign is a lot of fun, the overall quality of the game is great, and there's tons of PvP options so you can play with other players too. There's also some great bosses to challenge and fight, such as the Guardian of the Void Keep, Malik Kavar. I mean, just look at this guy. The main trick to fighting him is dealing with all his poison. It can't be blocked or resisted, so you'll need a lot of shield buffs and healing to counteract the damage. Raid's always got something fun and new going on as well, such as special events and tournaments, like a new rotation of the brutal Hydra boss, and even some Valentine's Day events this month where you could grab a brand new legendary champion. Now is a great time to jump into the action, so hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to download the game, and when you do, you're gonna get a welcome package including a free champion, Aina, 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard. Once you get in the game, you can find your bonuses right here, and if you're quick, you can even find me in the game under the name HoopsandHipHop and join my clan. So be sure to hit that link to download, and a huge thank you to Raid for supporting the channel. Alrighty, so getting into the actual secrets now, our first one of the video has to do with something that you can find at the Primeval Grotto, which is a location found in the Coronet Highlands. You actually come here for a brief moment in time during the main story, but a little deeper into this cave than that story quest actually takes you is something really cool that you might not see if you don't take the time to explore this cave. And that would be 2 skeletons of both Bastiodon and Rampardos, which obviously as fossil Pokemon, they would be fossils and extinct at this time, so it's just a really nice attention to detail to be able to actually see this within the overworld and find it for ourselves. However, because fossil restoration technology does not exist at the time of Legends Arceus, obviously, this isn't actually where you find the fossil Pokemon. Instead, you have to actually find them within the time-space distortions, which, if I must say, is a pretty cool way to bring in Pokemon from other periods of time that wouldn't otherwise be within Sinnoh within this particular point in time. Our second secret/Easter egg can be found within the Obsidian Fieldlands, the first area that you go to in the game. Once you get access to Braviary and or Basculegion as a ride Pokemon, you can travel to the southern portion of this area and come upon an island known as Romanus Island. If that name sounds familiar, it is because it is also the name of Romanus Park from Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, revealing that that was an allusion to what was to come in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and interestingly enough, it also seems to be located within roughly the same area of the Sinnoh region as well. As we can see, it is close by to Lake Verity, which Romanus Park also is within Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. One of the characters that you will meet pretty early on in the game within Jubilife Village is Zisu. If you take a close look at her, it shouldn't take you very long to realize that she is actually the ancestor to Flint, and as such is also the ancestor to Buck, Flint's little brother. And in just the same way that you can see the allusion to Flint in Zisu's hairstyle, you can see the allusion to Buck when you battle Zisu, as her animation that she performs during the beginning of a battle with her will show her kind of cranking up her arm, getting ready to go. And this is actually the same animation that we see Buck perform during a battle with him in Pokemon Platinum, which is a nice, subtle allusion to the connection between these two characters. And speaking of Buck, another allusion to him might possibly be made with the help of an NPC character who, coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, is also named Buck. At the start of the game, you will find him within the office of the Medical Corps recuperating from some kind of injury, and if you perform a side quest for Pacell, which involves bringing her a Krogunk, she will use the poison from this Krogunk to make a medicine that will cure Buck's ailment. Afterwards, you will find him near the training grounds right about here, and for some reason when I went to go record this footage he had moved, which I didn't expect, but he does appear here after you help recover him, and if you talk to him at this point, he will say that he is currently working on building a wooden Krogunk statue in honor of the Pokemon that helped him to feel better. And this is obviously a reference to the iconic wooden Krogunk statue that is originally seen within Pastoria City within Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and its remakes. And circling this back around to the Buck character from the modern games, it's interesting that we find this NPC Buck nearby Buck's ancestor Zisu, which could possibly have some connection there. Maybe this NPC is the namesake of the Buck character from the modern games, and Zisu and her family picked up the name from this character. That part is obviously just speculation, but it's a pretty cool possible implication. Another implication that is made within the residents of Jubilife Village is one that comes from Benny. Benny is the guy that makes you all that delicious potato mochi, and at a later point in the game, you also battle him as well, and it's revealed at this point that he is actually an ancestor to Wally, because he reveals his hairstyle, which is basically identical to Wally. It has a green streak in it, which is the same color as Wally's hair, and he has both a Gallade and Gardevoir, which are obviously Wally's signature Pokemon. After all of this though, if you talk to Benny within the Jubilife Village, he will say that he's done what he has set out to do within Hisui and is probably going to look for a place with a more agreeable climate to live in. Given his relation to Wally, this is obviously an allusion to the fact that Wally is from the Hoenn region, and this is sort of explaining how Wally came to reside in Hoenn, because it's implied that his ancestor Benny is going to move to Hoenn at some point after the events of Pokemon Legends Arceus, which once again is just a really cool detail. Another really cool detail that is kind of easy to miss has to do with some of the items that you can find within the game. Some of the items have custom appearances within the overworld, but others have that classic generic look that we have come to know and love from the Pokemon games. However, within this game, if you look at what the generic appearance for items is, you will see that it's actually somewhat of a reference to how they look in all of the other games. The items appear as a little basket that is colored just like a Pokeball, and this is an allusion to how items in other games appear in the overworld, which is just like a Pokeball, making this overall a nice attention to detail. Some of the more interesting characters in Pokemon Legends Arceus are the Misfortune Sisters. You encounter these troublesome characters at various points throughout your adventure, and they are all ancestors to characters from the modern games, such as Candace, Saturn from Team Galactic, and Agatha. Or maybe you thought that was an ancestor to Bertha. Well, regardless of which way you looked at it, you would be right, because the often talked about theory that Agatha and Bertha are related is basically confirmed with this ancestor character, Charm, because not only does she look like both of them, but she uses both of their signature Pokemon. Gengar in the case of Agatha, and in the case of Bertha, Rhydon, which is meant to represent Bertha's Rhyperior, who she uses as her ace in Pokemon Platinum. This next one is really interesting because it's actually a hint towards Pokemon Legends Arceus that was out in the open over 2 years before the game came out and over a year before it was even announced. Back in 2019, the TCG set known as Cosmic Eclipse was released, and it featured this Teddyurus card that contains some art that, knowing what we know now, is very clearly some foreshadowing towards Legends Arceus that would come out over 2 years later. Not only does it have the ruins in the background with a statue of Arceus, but the card is also of Teddyurus, who obviously received a new evolution in this game, showing that the Pokemon Company were teasing this game well before we even knew that it was a thing. I gotta give a big shout out to High-Res Pokemon Art for bringing this to my attention, so go check them out on Twitter or Instagram if you enjoy really cool Pokemon art. Another cool tidbit you can find at the training grounds comes later on in the game when you're able to battle a variety of people pretty much whenever you want with the help of Ingo. If you decide that you want to battle Comodo, he will tell you right before your battle with him that he is wearing traditional Galarian armor. This is not only cool to hear the mention of the Galar region, but given that his armor looks a lot like Wickstrom's armor from Pokemon X and Y, and Wickstrom himself kind of talks in a medieval English dialect, this pretty much indirectly confirms that Wickstrom is in fact from Galar as well, so this is kind of a neat 2-for-1 reference. And for our last secret/Easter egg of the video, we have got a really cool one. Amongst the various NPCs that you can find in Jubilife Village are 2 distinct characters, and their names are Florero and Canela. If those names sound familiar to you, it's because they're references to Floaroma Town and Canalave City, which in itself is a pretty cool reference, and these names are also the names of 2 particular spots within Jubilife Village itself, the Floaro Main Street and the Canela Bridge, which implies that those locations are named after these people, which makes these people pretty prominent and probably some of the original inhabitants of Jubilife Village. And it's actually revealed in a side quest at a later point in the game that Florero is actually the grandfather of Canela, tying these 2 characters together. And what's even more interesting, considering the previous aforementioned connection to Floaroma Town and Canalave City, is the fact that these 2 are a part of the Construction Corps, and after you beat the game, if you talk to the Construction Corps' leader, Sanqua, she will talk about her desire to now go out into the Hisui region and build other villages in addition to Jubilife Village, which is all one big implication that Florero and Canela are in fact the founders of Floaroma Town and Canalave City, which is pretty freaking cool. And there you have it, guys. Those were 10 more secrets and Easter eggs from Pokemon Legends Arceus. If you want more of these and you missed the first video, be sure to check that out with the card on screen. And if you would like to see even more, be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe if you're new for more Pokemon content, and with that being said, I will be back with another one very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching this one, I love you very much, and I will smell you guys later.